everyone, welcome back to A-Level Lessons Online. I'm going to be covering general paper today on our first ever part. Okay, we're going to be looking at essays to begin with. Alright, and then further down the road, I'll move on into, in this first video, okay, I'll be going through on your introduction, how to write a very, very bang-on solid introduction. Okay, then in the next video, I'll be covering more on your body paragraphs, how are you going to be finding examples, what kind of explanation you need, okay, how to drive an essay to an argumentative essay, an expository essay, okay, as well as how you're going to conclude the entire essay. Then after which, I'll move on to your compre skills. Okay, your comprehension is very important. Your structured essay questions, your summary question, your application question, all are actually extremely easy to score. Okay, but you need to just get a hang of the skills that are required. Okay, so I'll be going through those. Okay, give me some time. I'm currently feeling a bit under the weather, so I will take a while to churn these videos out, but I'll try and get them out as soon as possible if I can on a weekly basis. All right. So, okay, let's begin. Okay, how do you write a solid introduction, general paper, A levels? Okay, firstly, you need to be able to generate interest. Okay, if the words are a bit small, okay, feel free to zoom in, take a screenshot, and then do your own notes from there. Okay. Okay, you want to try and start an intro with a bang, right? Because every essay, right, if you think about every essay that you've written or every essay that you've read, okay, if there's been something interesting, you notice that it is actually very, very captivating right from the start. So that is what you want to try and form, okay, a very, very good impression right from the start, which basically starts off with a bang, okay, because it sets the right tone, it sets the right mood, it sets the right perspective for the entire essay that will follow through. Okay, so interest can be generated through one, definition of key concepts in the question. So this is very simply just define, okay, just explain, okay, what are the key concepts of the question. Okay, so always remember to do a question analysis. Okay, I'll do another video on how to do a question analysis, okay, during the first 20 to 25 minutes of your essay prep. Okay, if not, you can also start your essay with a quote. So quote something by President Barack Obama, ex-president, okay, quote something by Nelson Mandela, someone famous. Okay, you can always just throw in a random quote that is of course relevant to the topic. Okay, it must be relevant to the question. Okay, and lastly is to give a statistic. Okay, I usually like these three. Okay, statistic is very simple. You just start off with something, an interesting fact, an interesting statistic showing like 85% or 86.7% of teens as conducted by the Yale University tend to have a greater addiction towards YouTube as compared to Twitch, something like this. Okay, a relevant statistics tends to involve numbers, okay, that is actually captivating in terms of skewing your target audience, okay, as well as to make sure that it answers the question as well. Okay, so personally, I prefer to define the key terms. I feel it's much easier as compared to a statistic and a quote because these two require you to go and do beforehand research, okay, to go and actually find a few quotes, a few statistics that you need to have to be able to back up your essay. And depending on what question you're writing, you may not be able to predict the quote or the statistic that you're trying to find beforehand. Okay, so by defining the key terms, it's already in the question. I just need to explain what the key terms are. And moreover, it provides greater clarity as well as set the parameters of what I will be answering in the question. Okay, so your key terms is very simply, I'll go through an example after this. You're just going to define what they are. Excuse me. And this will help you to be able to actually set up, okay, the boundaries to what your essay is being going to cover. Alright, so an example I have here, okay, it's historical buildings are relics of the past. How true is this of your society? This was a previous A-level question. Okay, if you actually look at this, I've defined it by the key terms in the question. So firstly, I've got historical buildings. So these refer to older, more traditional buildings with a tradition, a traditional or heritage-like stigma attached to them. Okay, buildings which are more than 50 years old. So I'm going to straight up define how old are these buildings, exactly how old are the age of these buildings, so that when it comes to the exam, the examiner knows that, oh, maybe what if you're defining as the park next door as a historical location, or let's say you're defining as your condo which was actually built 15 years ago and you consider it as a historical building. Okay, historical buildings, you need to define exactly what they are, how old they are, why are they deemed as historical. Okay, relics are essentially an artifact. Okay, it is almost giving off a notion of unwantedness. Okay, so it is one's treasure and of a high value. So this is where I'll be further sieving down, okay, historical buildings into those that are actually relics. So those that are actually of special mention, those that basically almost everybody knows about. Okay, those are basically the special type of historical buildings that refer to relics of the past. Okay, so the past, I'll define it as anything between 50 to 100 years ago, okay, similar to the parameter set for my historical buildings, okay, as well as how that these buildings are actually deemed to have been created and passed on from previous generations. So in this essay, okay, I'm excluding the current generation, whereby buildings were built in our generation. I'm saying that these buildings were built before this generation even existed. That is why they're historical, and that is why they hold meaning to them. So your society can basically be your own society of Singapore, UK, Australia, wherever you are watching this from. Okay, that is your society, the country that you are in, the country you're taking your exam, the country that you're born in. Okay, so do provide characteristics of your society. Okay, is it a pragmatic society? Is it materialistic? Is it economically driven? Is it modern? Is it a pampered society? Is it an unwanted society? Okay, there's a lot of different characteristics, because these characteristics will help. I'll teach you later in the next few videos to come. Okay, it'll help you be able to stem your argument as well as your stand on why historical buildings are actually relics of the past or why they are not. Okay, so phrase these in sentences with transition words, and this will form your first part of your introduction. Okay, it may seem very, very long, but trust me, when you actually write it out, it will actually be alright. Okay? Excuse me. Alright. So moving on. Okay, explain the tension. Okay, once you have generated some interest, the next step is to acknowledge the possible areas for conflict in your essay. Okay, so this is a very, very simple, just stating and explaining and acknowledging that there are possible rooms, okay, whereby certain different types of people could come clashing against one another because of the question. Okay, so this can be done by simply drafting out the reasons for tension and who the two opposing sides may be. Okay, so very simply just state the various stakeholders involved, as well as to state the reason for the possible conflicts. Okay, I'll give you an example here. Okay, should crimes that were committed many years ago simply be forgotten? Okay, a very, very controversial question that has room for a lot of people to debate, right? So you can do something like this. Here, this is an example. You do write it however you want. I'm trying to write in the simplest and most layman possible terms over here. Okay, but I'm basically going to do something like standing on the side of justice. It is only right that do not let these pass. Okay, these crimes pass. Okay, however, some may argue, and I'll discuss who this some is later in my essay. Okay, some may argue that there are exceptions and second chances should be given. Okay, so there's also another case whereby it's the fight between the people who are pro-life and pro-death in the cases of death penalties, as well as the conflict between the law and equity. Okay, so these are just simple examples you can be giving to just state. Okay, very simply state, you're not explaining over here or giving a much detail, okay, because you explain in more detail later in the essay, but you just want to basically give the reader, okay, an insight, okay, saying that you're going to be looking at these two sides of the war. Alright. Okay, moving on. Last part, okay, is to provide a stand. Okay, this would nicely sum up your entire introduction. Okay, provide a good and strong stand that has a justification coming along with it. Okay, a very, very strong justification. So always come up with your own stand, okay, that will carry through to the entire essay. So be it if you are for the motion, okay, that means that you're going to have to write 3 fors and 2 against. If you're against the motion, the question, you're going to have to write 3 against and 2 fors. Okay, basically it's always an imbalance. You can also write 2. You can provide each the same way, same weightage, but as an overall evaluation and your conclusion, which I'll also go through, not to worry, okay, just be sure to subscribe and like this video, okay. I'll go through those in the later part, okay, how to actually use evaluation to state why a certain stand is actually bigger than the other. Okay, let's say your against is actually more than your for arguments. Okay, there's actually a way to write in your evaluation. I'll teach you. Okay, as to how you're going to use evaluation to actually justify why one side deserves more credibility than the other. Okay, so the stand should be firm with a strong justification. It can be done with the use of large and small extent. I'll give you an example over here. How far is your country prepared for future crisis? So an example to sum up my entire introduction, okay, let's say I've already done my generating of interest, I've already done by providing the 2 sides to the argument. I'll conclude by saying, hence, with the upgrades in my country's technology and a common ideology amongst the people, in all 5 areas of defense, okay, or total defense, right? My country is prepared for all types of crisis, ranging from military to social to a large extent. Okay, so overall, I'm giving off my stand by providing a reason, okay, why I'm agreeing to a large extent. Okay, in this case, my reason is because of the upgrades in technology, as well as the ability for every single person in my society to have the 5 pillars of defense in their heads. Okay, that is the reason why I'm saying to a large extent. So if you say to a small extent, then just provide a different set of reasons to justify that as well. Okay, so that is how you conclude your introduction. So sum it all together, you will get a very, very nice introduction to start your essay with a very, very good bang, okay, because you have already captivated the audience, the reader, okay, and that will make them want to read more because they want to find out more, okay, about the 2 different sides that you're going to be arguing. They were going to want to find out what types of definitions you have laid out. They want to find out which stand is actually a greater weightage and how your own justification will come through throughout the entire essay. Okay, so this is how you write a bang-on solid introduction. Okay, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really does help me out a lot. Okay, share this video with your friends if it does help you. Okay, as well as to subscribe to the channel. Right, it really does help me out a lot, and I'm very, very appreciative of the gain in subscribers recently. Okay, it's been crazy. Thank you guys so much for the support. It would be great if it could just keep on coming. That would be better for me to create even better videos for you guys. I'll be coming back with GP very, very soon, trust me. For now, go ahead, look at my econs, my jog series as well. I'll try and produce more GP as soon as possible. Okay, but if you have any questions, do leave it down in the comment section below. Okay, I will go and answer them as well. If not, that is all I have. Okay, do study hard, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.